You've raised dogs for decades. You know their quirks, their favorite treats, their bark when they need something. You've done it all with love and experience. But what if one habit, something as simple as how often you feed, has been quietly working against your dog's health? Picture this: it's early morning and your 13-year-old lab vomits bile again. You've seen it before, figured it's just age or empty stomach. But what if that's your dog's body crying out for help? And what if that bile, that bloating, or that sluggish energy has less to do with what's in their bowl, and more to do with how, when, and how much they're eating? Today, we're diving into the 10 most common dog feeding mistakes, ones even lifelong owners make without realizing. We'll talk bile vomiting, bloat risk, meal timing, the kind of bowls that matter, and especially mistake number 6, which could be putting your dog at daily risk. So let's begin. Not with what's in the food, but with how long it's been since your dog last ate. Because that time gap, it might be more dangerous than you ever imagined. Mistake number 1. Feeding once a day. Only. For years you may have believed that feeding your dog once a day was simple, efficient, even healthy. After all, it works for some people. Why not dogs? But here's the truth: what feels like a harmless habit could be slowly wearing down your dog's digestive system, especially if they're older. Imagine going 18 hours without food every single day. By the time you eat, your stomach's flooded with acid, your hands are shaky, and all you want to do is scarf it down. Now picture your dog, especially a senior one, experiencing that over and over. That morning bile, they vomit. It's not random. It's a sign their stomach is empty for too long and their system is struggling. And it's not just discomfort. Longer gaps between meals have been linked to an increased risk of gastric torsion, also known as bloat. In large, deep-chested breeds, like German Shepherds and Great Danes, this condition can be fatal within hours. It twists the stomach, cuts off blood flow, and causes unbearable pain. Research from the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association shows that dogs fed only once a day, especially when they eat fast, or from elevated bowls, face a higher risk of GDV. If you're feeding your dog once a day because it's convenient, or because that's what you've always done, this is the moment to reconsider. Try splitting their food into 2 or 3 smaller meals. It helps maintain steady energy, reduce hunger spikes, and protect them from serious digestive emergencies. Because when it comes to their health, it's not just what you feed, it's when and how often. But even if you get the timing right, how do you know if you're feeding the right amount? Mistake number 2, overfeeding without measuring. Let's be honest, eyeballing your dog's food portion feels natural. You scoop, pour, maybe even top it off with a little extra because he looked hungry. But here's the thing: dogs don't know when to stop. Unlike us, they rarely self-regulate. They'll eat until they can't move, especially if they're food-driven breeds like Labradors, Beagles, or even senior rescues who once had to fight for meals. Now think about that every time we reward them with treats or dump a bit more kibble just in case we may be tipping them into a dangerous zone. Obesity in dogs isn't just about appearance. It directly impacts their joints, heart, and lifespan. A few extra ounces a day can lead to years of discomfort. Have you ever actually measured your dog's daily food? Not just the meal, but everything, including treats. Most owners don't, and many forget that treats used for training or affection also count toward the total intake. One study by the Association for Pet Obesity Prevention found that over 50% of dogs in the U.S. are overweight, and the majority of owners had no idea. So what can you do? Start small. Use a measuring cup. Weigh the food if needed. Track their treat intake, especially if they're older and move less. If your dog seems hungry after eating, it may be habit, not need. Because feeding isn't just an act of love, it's an act of precision. But portion size is only part of the story. Even if you're measuring carefully, what exactly are you putting in that bowl? Mistake number 3, not reading ingredient labels. You walk into the store, grab the bag with the shiny label, maybe one, that says natural or veterinarian approved, and toss it in the cart. It looks premium. You've seen the brand around. Seems safe, right? But do you actually know what's in it? Most dog owners never read the ingredient list. And when they do, it's confusing, long words, vague terms like meat byproducts or animal meal. It all sounds technical, maybe even harmless. But that's where the trouble starts. The first ingredient should always be real, named meat, like chicken, beef, or salmon. If it says meat meal without specifying the source, it could come from questionable materials. Some low-cost dog foods are packed with fillers like corn or wheat, which offer little nutrition and can upset digestion, especially in older dogs with sensitive stomachs. What you feed becomes who they are. Poor quality food over time puts strain on the liver, kidneys, and immune system organs that already weaken with age. And unlike visible weight gain, internal damage doesn't show until it's too late. It only takes 30 seconds to flip the bag and check that label. And if your dog is a senior, it matters even more. Choose options with clear protein sources, limited ingredients, and no artificial additives. Because feeding your dog shouldn't be based on packaging. It should be based on what's inside. But even if you've got the right food, what happens when your dog finishes it in 10 seconds flat? Mistake number 4, letting dogs eat too fast. Have you ever watched your dog inhale their meal like it's a race bowl, down gone in 10 seconds? It's funny at first, maybe even impressive, but behind that speed is a silent risk. Eating too fast doesn't just cause choking or hiccups, it can trigger something far more dangerous. Gastric dilatation volvulus, or GDV. You might know it as bloat. It happens when the stomach fills with gas and twists on itself, cutting off blood supply. Without immediate surgery, it's often fatal, especially in large, deep-chested breeds like German Shepherds or Great Danes. Here's the scary part. When dogs eat quickly, they gulp down air along with food. That trapped air expands, stretches the stomach, and in certain cases causes it to flip. According to studies published in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association, rapid eating is a key risk factor for GDV, right up there with feeding one large meal a day. If your dog eats like every meal is their last, it's time to slow them down. Use a slow feeder bowl with ridges that force them to pause. Or try a snuffle mat that turns mealtime into a game. Even spreading kibble across a baking tray can buy those extra seconds their gut needs. Because fast meals lead to slow suffering, and that's something we can prevent with just a little planning. Now, speaking of what goes into that bowl, have you ever shared your own food with your dog? You might want to think twice. Mistake number 5. Sharing human food. We've all done it. You're sitting down to eat, and there they are, those eyes, soft, pleading, full of silent hope. Maybe you slip them a piece of bacon, maybe a bite of toast. It feels like love. And honestly, they seem so happy. But here's the hard truth. Not all human food is dog food. And what feels like a bonding moment could quietly be harming their organs. Some dangers are obvious: chocolate onions, garlic raisins. But others hide in plain sight. A slice of bacon brings with it loads of salt and fat. Leftover fries, too much oil. Even healthy foods for us, like avocado or mushrooms, can strain a dog's kidneys or nervous system, especially if they're older. Pancreatitis, kidney disease, liver stress. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in, especially in senior dogs whose systems can't process excess salt or fat the way they used to. One study found that even moderate consumption of table scraps correlates with increased inflammation markers in aging dogs. So, should you stop sharing altogether? Not necessarily. But share smart. Plain boiled chicken, a slice of carrot, pumpkin blueberries, or a bit of plain rice. These can be treats that show love without inviting long-term damage, because sharing food is beautiful, but sharing health is better. And speaking of what's safe and what's not, there's one thing that's been passed down for generations as a natural treat, but it might just rip your dog's gut apart. Mistake number 6. Feeding cooked bones. Bones feel primal, natural. After all, in the wild, dogs chew bones all the time, right? So tossing your dog a leftover rib or chicken drumstick seems harmless, even thoughtful. But here's what many owners don't know. Cooked bones are not safe. In fact, they can be lethal. When bones are cooked, whether baked, grilled, or boiled, they become brittle. And brittle bones don't just break, they splinter. Sharp fragments can pierce the inside of your dog's mouth, tear through their throat, or even perforate the intestines. One wrong bite could lead to emergency surgery or worse. You might think, but he's always chewed bones and been fine. That's the thing. It only takes one time. Just one. Veterinarians see it constantly. Dogs rushed in with blocked bowels, internal bleeding, or fragments stuck in the digestive tract. So what can you give instead? Large raw bones, like marrow bones under supervision, can be safer, as they don't splinter the same way. Better yet, choose vet-approved chew toys designed to satisfy their urge to gnaw without risking internal damage. Because the difference between natural and dangerous is often just heat and pressure. And here's the kicker, even the safest food can become a health hazard if it's served in the wrong kind of bowl. Mistake number 7. Wrong bowl type. A bowl is just a bowl, right? Not quite. Many dog owners never give it a second thought. We pick one that fits the kitchen floor or looks nice with the decor. But the shape, depth, and height of your dog's bowl can silently affect how they breathe, chew, and even digest. For short-nosed breeds like bulldogs or pugs, deep bowls force them to press their faces into awkward angles, making it harder to breathe and easier to swallow air. That extra air can lead to bloating and acid reflux, something older dogs are already prone to. For long-eared breeds like Cocker Spaniels or Basset Hounds, shallow, wide bowls mean one thing: their ears dip into every bite. That's not just messy. It invites bacteria, yeast infections, and chronic ear issues. And for large breeds like Great Danes or Labradors, especially, seniors bending down to a floor-level bowl strains the neck and back. But here's the twist. Elevated bowls, often marketed as ergonomic, have been linked to higher risk of GDV in some deep-chested dogs. A long-term study by Glickman et al. Showed that elevated feeders were associated with up to 52% of GDV cases in giant breeds. So what's the right choice? Flat-faced dogs need wide, shallow bowls. Long-eared breeds do best with deep, narrow bowls. And for large dogs, especially those at risk of bloat, speak to your vet about the safest feeding posture. Because even something as simple as a bowl can shape your dog's health every single day. But let's step back. Even with the right bowl, the right food, and the right timing, are you feeding the same exact thing every single day? Mistake number 8. Repeating the same meal for years. We get it. Your dog loves their kibble. They eat it happily every single day. And when something seems to work, why change it? But imagine eating the same meal every day for 10 years. No variety, no fresh ingredients, no seasonal change. You'd be bored, sure, but more than that, your body would start to miss critical nutrients. It's the same for dogs. Many commercial kibbles are designed to be complete and balanced. But over time, especially in older dogs, their needs shift. Their metabolism slows, their joints weaken, their digestion becomes more sensitive, and a one-size-fits-all approach often falls short. Dogs need amino acids from varied meats. They benefit from healthy fats like fish oil for coat and brain support, and they thrive on vitamins and fiber from real vegetables like pumpkin carrots or sweet potato. Without these, they risk deficiencies that quietly impact energy digestion, skin health, and immune function. It doesn't mean throwing out your kibble. It means enhancing it. Rotate between proteins, chicken, beef, salmon. Add a spoonful of pureed pumpkin. Mix in fresh, safe vegetables a few times a week. Think of it as topping off their diet, not replacing it. Because just like us, dogs do better when their plate evolves with their body. And if we're talking about what goes into their body, maybe it's time to look at something even more basic than food: the water they drink every day. Mistake number 9. Ignoring water quality. Food gets all the attention. We compare brands, ingredients, textures, but when was the last time you looked at your dog's water bowl? For many owners, it's just there. We top it off when it looks low. Maybe we rinse the bowl once in a while. But water, like food, plays a critical role in your dog's health, especially as they age. Let's start with what's in that water. In some areas, tap water contains chlorine-heavy metals, or even trace contaminants that, while safe for humans, can irritate a dog's digestive system over time. For a senior dog with a slowing metabolism and vulnerable kidneys, that irritation can lead to chronic issues. And what about the bowl itself? Plastic bowls may seem convenient, but they scratch easily, trapping bacteria in tiny grooves. Add some standing water, a warm kitchen corner, and a few hours, and you've got the perfect breeding ground for biofilm. That means bacteria, algae, and sometimes even mold, especially if the bowl isn't cleaned daily. So, what can you do? Simple steps make a difference. Use stainless steel or ceramic bowls. Rinse and refill the water at least twice a day. Wash the bowl with warm, pet-safe soap daily. And if you live in an area with hard water or chemical treatments, consider filtered water. Because your dog may never complain, but their kidneys will feel it. And now we come to the simplest mistake of all, one so easy to fix, yet so commonly overlooked: the food bowl itself. Not what's in it, but how clean it is. Mistake number 10. Not cleaning bowls daily. We clean our own dishes after every meal. We scrub our mugs, wipe our forks, but somehow the dog's bowl, that one sits there. Maybe a quick rinse. Maybe not. It's just kibble, we tell ourselves. It looks clean, but it's not. In fact, studies show that your dog's food and water bowls are among the dirtiest surfaces in the entire house, often dirtier than a toilet seat or kitchen sink. That buildup you can't see, it's teeming with bacteria. Salmonella, E. coli, mold, and more. And when dogs eat or drink from that bowl, especially older dogs with weaker immune systems, those microbes can quietly enter their system. The result: digestive upset, diarrhea, weakened gut health, and over time a higher vulnerability to infections. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Use warm water and pet-safe soap. Wash bowls daily. Let them dry completely before refilling. And once in a while, give them a deeper clean, especially water bowls that develop slimy residue. Because your dog's health starts with the basics, and the bowl they eat from, that's as basic and important as it gets. These small oversights, letting the bowl slide, skipping water, changes, repeating the same food, don't feel like mistakes in the moment. But repeated daily, they add up. And now that we've walked through all 10, maybe you're asking yourself, have I been doing this wrong? Could I have done better? Let's take a moment to look back and forward. You've raised dogs with care, instinct, and love. For years, maybe decades, you've done your best. You fed them what they liked. You gave them treats when they asked. You stuck to routines that felt safe. But sometimes the routines we trust are the very ones we need to re-examine. Remember that morning bile, the one your dog vomited at sunrise, the one you thought was just a quirk of age. It might have been hunger. It might have been acid. It might have been your dog's quiet way of saying, something isn't right. Now you know better. You know that one large meal a day can lead to bloat. That speed eating isn't just messy, it's dangerous. That plastic bowls, dirty water, and even the wrong protein source can chip away at your dog's health one bite at a time. But you also know this. It's never too late to change. Start with one habit. Split their meals. Wash the bowls tonight. Add a spoonful of pumpkin, or rotate their protein this week. These aren't huge shifts. They're small choices layered with intention that can add up to better digestion, steadier energy, and maybe even a few more happy years. Because dogs can't tell us what they need. But they show us through behavior, through symptoms, through those quiet morning moments when something feels off. And now you have the knowledge to listen better. Have you made one of these mistakes? Most of us have. Tell me in the comments, which one surprised you the most? Which one will you change today? And if this video opened your eyes, even just a little, consider staying with us. Because next time, we'll explore something just as quietly powerful, how your dog's sleeping position might be revealing something deeper than comfort.